Hi guys. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. Good. Hello. Hello everyone. How's everyone doing? Yeah. Everyone's doing all right. Great. Very well. Thank you. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm very happy to be back with you guys after last week's week off. Did you do anything special last week? Taking a break? Maybe? No? Anything special? Anything exciting? Anything new last week? No? Okay. Well, hello everyone. Danae, Diana, Elvira, Erika, Jamie, Juan Carlos, Juan David, Maria Alejandra, Mario, Pedro, Sonia, Wilmar, Yadi. Welcome everyone to this session corresponding to week 4. Okay, this is week 4 already. And today we are touching on unit 3. Okay, creating materials. And also today is a double class. Okay, today is a 2-hour class, which means that the second hour will be devoted to review. Okay, so we'll do a review session in the last 60 minutes of today's session. Okay, so this is what we're going to do specifically. We're going to do 3 major things. The first thing that we're going to do in the next 60 minutes, more or less, is to review, to discuss Unit 3, creating materials. Specifically, we'll take a look at the 3 main topics that we've been looking at in the last few weeks: curriculum, syllabus, and lesson plan. Okay. Then I'll give you we'll review the guidelines of the group activity. Okay, create a lesson plan. Okay, so we'll spend some time talking about what to do, what not to do for this group activity. Okay, and last but not least, Mario, did I just answer that? Let me know if I didn't. And we'll devote the last minutes of today's class to review. So we'll be reviewing Unit 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing today. I'll wait for some people who are writing, and then we'll start. I'm all right, Daniel. How are you? Excellent. Hello, Maida. Hello, everyone. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't really matter. Today we're talking about the group activity, and next week we'll be talking about the needs analysis activity. Okay, Mario? In any case, Mario, I'm just following the course schedule, okay, that you can find in Canvas, okay? So I always follow the course schedule verbatim, okay? So if you have any doubts on when I'll be explaining such and such, just go there, okay? Because I just follow it strictly. Okay, Mario? Everyone? All right. So, as I said, 3 main things on tonight's menu. Okay, Unit 3, group activity, and review session of the first 3 units. Are we ready to start? Say yes. Are we ready to start? Yeah? Okay, yeah, all right. All right. I'm glad that you guys are so excited to start. Okay. Unit 3, curriculum, syllabus, and lesson plan. Okay, this is what we're going to do now in the next few minutes. Okay. Curriculum and competencies, type of syllabi, and lesson plan components. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at is curriculum and competencies, how these 2 interact. But first, let's refresh the concept of curriculum. Can you remember the definition of curriculum and what is usually included in a curriculum? Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts. Don't Google it. Don't look it up. Let's see how much you can remember. What's a curriculum and what do we normally include in a curriculum? Curriculum, definition, contents. Something that we covered, especially on week 1 and 2. Yeah, some people are writing. I'll wait. Elvira. Curriculum is about objectives, contents, materials, and school policies, breakdown of the grades, and expectations of the teachers. I'm not sure about some of those. Fanny, it's a document that contains educational programs, objectives, procedures. Okay, Fanny, that's good. Juan Manuel, it's a document that includes education programs, objectives, and something else, right? Juan Manuel? Maria Carolina, curriculum is a document that contains regulations, evaluation systems, okay, and something else. Okay, some people are writing. I'll wait. Otherwise, I'll just reveal what we saw a curriculum is and what it contains. Okay, guys, curriculum, not to be confused with a syllabus. Sandra, it's a document with the program's objectives, contents, teaching procedures, learning experiences, and assessment procedures. Very good, Sandra. Hello, Monica. Elvira. Yeah, Elvira. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You confused curriculum and syllabus, which it usually happens. Okay, it usually happens. Yeah, Fanny, you're right. Okay, so this is what it is. A curriculum is a document that describes an education program. Okay, an education program. And usually education programs contain the objectives of the program. Okay, what's a program without a list of objectives? What you want your students to achieve after the completion of a program. Okay, the content, what is it that you want to teach? Okay, the teaching procedures, how you are going to teach those contents. Learning experiences and assessment procedures, how you're going to make sure that your students have achieved, or how much they have achieved the objectives that you set up for them. Okay, so objectives, content, teaching procedures, learning experiences, and assessment procedures. Those are usually included in curricula. Okay, so that's the definition and content. Okay, guys, some version of this will be on the test for sure. Some version of it as a short question or as a true, false, or multiple choice statement. So yeah, okay, it's gonna be a big part, or it's gonna be a part of the test for sure. Okay. Okay. After a little review of what curricula are and their contents, let's take a look at curriculum and competences. Okay, and for that, I copied and pasted what the PDF of Unit 3 says, which I think is nicely stated. Okay, so we'll just go over what Unit 3 has to say about curriculum and competences. Okay, so you'll find this more or less verbatim in the PDF for Unit 3. It says, the Council of Europe has provided the general framework for curricular design. The Council of Europe. The Council of Europe, when we talk about the Council of Europe, what are we talking about? The Council of Europe, through which, let's say, institution has provided a general framework for curriculum design? The CEFR or the CEFL? Remember, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Okay, that's another way to say the Council of Europe. Remember that the Council of Europe are the creators of the CEFR or the CEFL. Okay, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back to units 1 and 2. Okay, so the Council of Europe, the CEFL or CEFR, okay, has provided the general framework for curricular design. Okay, so the European law, okay, so the European common law has provided a framework for the different countries within the European Union to develop their curricula. Okay, so it sets out a reference of language syllabi, different models or examples, curriculum guidelines, and materials for language learning across Europe. Okay? It describes what learners should be learning regarding knowledge and skills to communicate in a foreign language effectively. Okay? The framework addresses language learning as language activities and tasks. Okay? The framework addresses language learning as language activities or tasks. Okay? So the Council of Europe favors or defines language learning as what we do when we complete activities and tasks. Okay? Through these activities and tasks, students must learn to reinforce and modify competencies. So when teaching and learning languages, activities and tasks must be implemented for students to modify or learn competencies. And what's a competence? Competence can be defined as the sum of knowledge and skills that allow a person to perform actions. Okay? The sum of knowledge and skills that allow a person to perform actions. It's right here. I'm just reading. Okay? The sum of knowledge and skills that allow a person to perform actions. That's a competence. And there are two types of competences: general competences and communicative language competences. Okay? And we'll see the definition of these two in a second. Okay, guys. So, in sum, who provides a framework for different countries to develop curricula? Who provides the general framework for Spain and France and Italy to develop their curricula? The Council of Europe. Through which institution? Or through which tool? The CEFR or L, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Okay? Yeah? And I think I shared the actual document with you on week 1, I believe. Okay? Good, Yadi. Good. At least do this. Good. See? Now, that general framework includes examples of syllabi, curriculum guidelines, materials. Okay? The Council of Europe favors learning through the completion of what? Favors learning through the completion of what kind of things? The Council of Europe understands language learning through the completion of different things. 2 things. You don't complete competences. You complete something to acquire competences. What is it that you need to complete, that you need to accomplish? Activities and tasks. Activities and tasks. For what purpose? For what purpose do we complete activities and tasks? What is it that we want to do? What is it that we want to accomplish by completing activities and tasks? What's the main purpose? What's the objective? Competences. Juan Manuel, see? Competences. To acquire and or to modify competences. See, that's the main objective. We want our students to acquire certain competences or modify certain competences. Okay? And there are two types of competences: general competences and communicative language competences. There you go, Jamie. Students acquire competences or modify competences. Okay? See? So each country has to develop their own curricula, but based on these guidelines, based on these principles. Okay? It has to be based on the Council of Europe guidelines, and the objective has to be always complete activities and tasks to either acquire or modify competences, general competences and communicative language competences. Okay, Daniel. Okay, that's good, but we'll get there in a second. Okay, Daniel, you're too fast even for me. Good job, good job. Okay, general competencies and communicative language competencies. They are here. General competencies and communicative language competencies. What's the main difference between these two? The main difference is the following. With general competencies, general competencies are the ones that intervene when performing actions of all kinds, not necessarily linguistic. Any actions, any tasks. I don't know, talking on the phone, or I don't know, walking. General competencies. Whereas communicative language competencies are the ones that empower a person to act using linguistic means. See? So communicative language competencies are the ones dealing with using language to communicate. And general competencies are the other competencies needed to do any other kind of things that we do as human beings. Okay? That's the main difference. Is that understood? Is the difference between these two understood? Yes or no? Or maybe? Yeah, Sandra? Yeah, everyone? Sandra, Jamie? Good, 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 good. Now, there are different types of competencies within each type of general competencies or communicative language competencies, okay? And they are right here, okay? Social linguistic competences, procedural knowledge, ability to learn, declarative knowledge, linguistic competence, attitudes and values, pragmatic competences. Okay, I want you to take a look at all these. I want you to take a look at all these subcategories or sub-competences, and I want you to think in which or under which category they belong. Okay? Yeah? Okay, so no need to write, okay? There's no need to, hello, Alvaro. There's no need to write at this point. What I want you to do is take a look at these sub-competencies, take a look at them, and decide in which category they fall, okay? In a few minutes, we'll figure it out all together, all right? Okay, I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Hello, Glenda. Hey, Sandy. Well, you see in front of you two groups of competencies, and then you have scattered around different types of competencies. So what I want you to do is take a look at these competencies in the gray boxes and try to place them under the right big competence. Okay? Okay, Daniel, that's not just right, I said, but that's fine. That's good. We'll figure it out all together. Okay, if you guys don't mind. Okay, guys, social linguistic competence. Social linguistic competence. General or communicative language? G or C? General or communicative? G or C? C? Communicative? 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 Social linguistic. Communicative language competence. So yeah, this belongs here. This belongs here. Guys, procedural knowledge. Skills, procedures, and strategies, knowing how to use declarative knowledge. General, G, or communicative, C? See, skills, procedures, and strategies. It's not necessarily linguistic, right? So it belongs here. Guys, ability to learn, learning to learn, general competence or linguistic competence? G or C? Yeah, ability to learn. It doesn't say ability to learn languages. It's ability to learn whatever. So it's a general competence. Guys, linguistic competences. General or linguistic? Yeah, communicative. Yeah, second box. Good. Guys, declarative knowledge. Facts, concepts, principles, rules. General or communicative? Yeah. General, right? Facts, concepts has to do with language or not. Could be related to anything else. Guys, pragmatic competences, the functional use of linguistic resources. Well, obviously, communicative. It has to do with linguistics, with pragmatics, with the use of language in context. And last but not least, attitudes and values, existential competence, individual characteristics, personality, communication or general. Yeah, it goes beyond communication, right? Okay, let me clean this out a little bit. There we go. So, general competences intervene when performing actions of all kinds, not necessarily linguistics, all kinds. Okay? Declarative knowledge, the ability to learn facts, the ability to learn concepts, principles, rules. It could be linguistic rules or not. Therefore, they fall under the general competences because they can be used when performing actions of all kinds, not necessarily communicative. Procedural knowledge, skill, procedures, and strategies, knowing how to use declarative knowledge, knowing how to use facts, knowing how to use concepts, principles, rules. So these two go together. These two are intertwined. Okay, so it makes sense that the two of them fall under the same category, general competences, because they can be used when performing actions of any kind, not necessarily communicative or not only communicative. Attitudes and values, existential competence, individual characteristics, personality, that obviously falls under general competences. Okay, that goes beyond communication. And ability to learn, learning to learn whatever. Okay, not only communication. So those are more general, broader types of competences. Okay, are they necessary for language learning? Of course, but they are not limited to language learning. Sorry. Okay. On the other hand, communicative language competences are the ones that empower a person to act using linguistic means. Therefore, we have linguistic competences, semantic, phonological, syntactic knowledge, and syntactic skills. Guys, when we talk about semantic, what are we talking about? In linguistics, what's semantics? So semantics has to do with what? Meaning. Good. When we talk about phonological knowledge in linguistics, when we talk about phonology or phonetics, we're talking about what? Sounds, pronunciation, sounds, sound system. Very good. When we talk about syntactic, when we talk about syntax, what are we talking about? Structure, order of words, how words are arranged into bigger units called sentences, clauses, and sentences. Okay, so the ability to infer meaning, use phonological structure and syntactic structure, that falls under linguistic competences and also under communicative language competences, because these competences only act when we use language to communicate. Okay. We also have social linguistic competences, which have to do with the social conditions of language use. We use language in context. We use language in society. So politeness, gender, social groups. Politeness, social linguistic competence, that's the competence that enable us to know that when we, I don't know, order food in a restaurant, we order food in a certain way. We don't say, give me pizza now. Right? Give me pizza now is grammatically perfect. But what's wrong with it? Yeah, it's not polite. We don't say it like that. We say, can I have, may I get such and such pizza, please? Okay? Politeness. Exactly, Daniel. How to interact with other people and the rules of politeness. That might be different in different countries, in different languages. Okay? Then, pragmatic competences, the functional use of linguistic resources in contextually appropriate fashion. Pragmatics. Let me give an example. Imagine that somebody else and I, let's say a friend of mine and I, are sitting down in my living room, okay? And the window is open, okay? And I say, I'm cold. What am I saying? What am I really saying? Am I communicating that my temperature is too low? What am I actually saying? Close the window. Could you please close the window? Right? So yeah, pragmatic competences. One of the things that pragmatics does is, or says, or studies, is the ability for language to be used not to just communicate things, but to make people act. Okay? Exactly. See, pragmatics, social linguistics, politeness, and things like that, and purely linguistic competences, like being able to use the right words, use the right structure, and pronounce the right way. Okay, to communicate effectively. I'm hungry and I don't have any money. The cake is delicious. Yeah, that sounds good. Or that looks good, meaning, can I have some? Yeah. Yeah, you got it. You guys got it. See? So, again, General competencies, the ones that we use to communicate and to do other things other than communicate, and the communicative language competencies that we use merely to communicate. Communicate is just a big, huge achievement, okay? And we need special competencies to be able to do that effectively. As we just discussed, it's not enough to know that "give me pizza now" is grammatically correct. It's not enough. That's not enough. Okay? We need to know, is it polite to say that in a restaurant? Okay? Etc., etc. We need all these competencies to effectively communicate. And we effectively communicate in society. Okay? With other people. Some people sometimes forget about that. Okay. Questions? Questions about general competencies and communicative language competencies? Questions? Yes, no, maybe? Daniel, because there's several communication, it's not only about what we say and how we say it. Exactly. Exactly. Knowing a language is a lot more than knowing the right grammar, the right vocab, and the right pronunciation. See? And some of us often forget about that. It's not enough to teach our students, say this, not that, or pronounce it this way, not that way. Okay? We need to teach also, again, politeness and pragmatic issues like the ones we just discussed. Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, you got it. Okay, so remember, why are we talking about competencies? Because the Council of Europe, the CEFR, CEFL, states that curricula has to be designed in order for us to, or taking into account that language learning involves completion of tasks and activities. For what purpose? To acquire or modify competences. General competencies and communicative language competencies. That's the basis, or that's the main purpose of what we do. Okay? And therefore, all these competencies must be included in the Spanish, at least in the Spanish curriculum. Not only the Spanish, the European curriculum. Okay? All the ones that are based on the CEFR, CEFL. All the ones that are based on the Council of Europe. Okay? Because remember, the objective is to acquire or modify these competencies. Therefore, they have to be included in the curriculum. And what are you going to do in order for students to acquire those competencies? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Say yes or no. Yeah? Good. Good. Excellent. Good. Let's move on to the next subtopic. We talked about curriculum and competencies. Now let's talk about syllabi. Okay? Remember the three main issues that we've been discussing in the past few weeks are curriculum, syllabus, and lesson plans. We talked about curriculum. Let's talk about syllabi. Okay? So let's review. Okay? Definition and components of a syllabus. What's a syllabus? What does it usually contain? We went through that in units 1 and 2. Alvaro, it's a document that contains the content we are going to teach. That's good. That's a good definition. It's a closed document and has the content of the course. That's very good. You added closed document, which is key. Juan Manuel, it's a closed document that provides description of the course. Okay, that's good. That's good. What do we normally include in a syllabus other than the content? we're going to learn A, B, and C. Other than that, what do we normally include? Contents and the order in which we're going to teach those. First A, then B, and finally C. That's good, Sandra. Alvaro, methodology, okay. Fanny, content, okay. We've established that already. What else? What else do we normally include? What else do we normally write in syllabi? Evaluation criteria, that's very good, Alvaro. We want to know what is it that you're going to learn and how we're going to make sure that you learned it. Sonia includes the whole activities and the target language. The whole activities? All the activities? It would be a very long document, right? Fanny gives the order, yes. Aristides, content organized by context and context objectives, okay. Modules, units, okay, that's good. That's good. Elvira, content, material, breakdown, expectations, okay. Okay. So this is what we discussed in some previous weeks. A syllabus is a closed document. Closed document. Okay, guys, very briefly, what do we mean by closed document? What is closed referring to? Can be changed? Jamie, is that what closed means? Cannot be changed. All right, Jamie. Yeah, I know it was a typo. It cannot be changed, right? It's a closed document. It cannot be changed. It's like a contract. Once you join the class, you are given a copy of the syllabus, and that's it. Okay? So we already talked about this. So a syllabus is a closed document which provides descriptions of the course contents, as well as the order in which they will be taught. A syllabus usually, and you already mentioned this, a syllabus contains objectives, again, like the curriculum. You need to specify the objectives. What is it that you want your students to achieve, to learn after the course the syllabus is about? Objectives, expectations, great. Okay, so you need to complete a test, several assignments, you need to come to class or not, things like that. Course materials. So we're going to be using this textbook or this books or web pages or whatever. Policies, etc. Policies like you need to come to class. If you are 10 minutes late, you won't be given grade. You need to be respectful of other people's opinions. Things like that. Yeah. Breakdown of grades, exactly. Grades. You need to complete this, this, and that. The exam is worth 50%. Assignments are worth 40%. Participation is worth 10%. Things like that. Okay? And etc., etc., meaning, yeah, other things could be included in syllabi. Okay? Yes? Remember this? Okay, so as I said before, some version of this will be on the test for sure. Either in the shape of a short question, or a true or false, or multiple choice statement, something like that. Okay, so other than the definition and the components, let's take a look at some types of syllabi. Okay, types of syllabi. 4 types of syllabi. Okay, divided into 2 main sections. On the one hand, yeah, Daniel, you're good and fast today. On the one hand, we have the product-oriented syllabus. I can tell you red. Daniel, that's good. Excellent. You could teach that class. You want me to give you permission to use the mic? You could do it. You could do a good job. You want to do that? That's good, Daniel. But in any case, let me know if you want. Product-oriented syllabus on the one hand, and on the other hand, process-oriented syllabus. Okay, so under product-oriented syllabus, we have structural grammatical syllabi and national functional syllabi. And under process-oriented, we have procedural and task-based. What are the differences between these 2 main groups? Product-oriented syllabi are old-fashioned. okay, a little old. Does that mean that people no longer use them? No, doesn't mean that. Okay, we'll see examples and we'll see how we all use syllabi like this still. They are all based on behaviorism. Behaviorism, guys? Behaviorism? What are we talking about when we talk about behaviorism? Vygotsky, okay? And what did Vygotsky say about behavior? Repetition, right? Learning a language is like learning to walk, or learning to cook, or learning to sing, or to play the guitar, okay? It's something that you do by constant repetition, okay? Constant repetition, trial or error, constant repetition, okay? I don't know about that, Maida. I don't know about that, okay? Just constant repetition, okay? And a lot of activities based on filling the blanks, reforming sentences, and things like that, okay? So repetition, repetition. Stimulus, reaction, response, exactly. Yeah? If I say, how are you? And Elvira says, fine, thank you. Good, Elvira. That's a positive reinforcement. I say, how are you? Maida says, I don't know. Maida, bad, negative reaction. It forces you to come up with the right answer. Because proficiency, that's the next step, proficiency is key, okay? In these syllabi, in these methodologies, you teach students to become perfect speakers, not to make any mistakes. Mistakes are bad. Don't do mistakes. Okay? That's the idea. That's the idea. So it's all about performance. It's all about producing and error-free language examples. It's all about accuracy, proficiency and accuracy, no errors, and it's all teacher-centered. Meaning, and we'll see more examples about what's teacher-centered instruction versus learner-centered instruction soon. Okay, but in teacher-centered instruction, the teacher is the center of the class. The teacher pretty much dictates everything that's going on in the class and is the one giving reinforcement. Positive, good job, or negative, are you sure? Things like that. Okay. Exactly, Daniel. Yeah, positive feedback motivates you to keep going, and negative feedback motivates you, in theory, to keep going and find the right answer. It's all about the right answer. It's all about the teacher being happy. Good job. See, you don't want the teacher to be, That's why it's teacher-centered. It's all about the teacher. It's all about what the teacher wants. Okay? Yeah? Okay. On the other hand, process-oriented syllabi are about, are more current, okay? And they are focused on developing effective learning strategies, okay? So it's not about being proficient. It's not about teaching you A, B, and C. It's about helping you get to A, B, and C. Effective learning strategies. It's not about learning stuff. It's about helping you learn what you need, okay? It pays more attention to individual learning styles, and effective factors are important. What do we mean by effective factors? We want the student to feel good in class, and we want the students to not to feel nervous or frustrated, to encourage students to learn better. Okay? In older methodologies, that doesn't matter. If you feel bad, too bad. If you feel anxious, too bad. Okay? Some people are writing. TBI. Good, Alvaro. What else? Any questions? Any comments? I see some people are writing. Yes, Alvaro. Shoot. TBI is the same as TBL. TBL is task-based learning, and that's a very specific way of teaching with tasks. Okay, we'll see an example. Just give me 1 second, and we'll see that. Okay, we'll see examples. Okay, Alvaro. Let me know if it's not clear in the next maybe 10 minutes. Okay, so let's see examples of these 4. Okay, because these are 2 big groups, but within each group we have 2 types of syllabi: structural, grammatical, notional, functional on the one hand, and procedural and task-based on the other hand. And there's the 4 of these, the 4 types of syllabi right here: structural, grammatical, notional, functional, okay, product-oriented syllabi, product-oriented. Okay, the most important thing is how you talk, how you react. And on the other hand, procedural and task-based, part of the process-oriented syllabi. So it's all about how you learn instead of you have to say this like this, otherwise it's wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna give this to you. A structural grammatical syllabi, it's all about learning grammar, pronunciation, and vocab. See? Structural grammatical. So it's all about structure. It's all about sound structure, phonological, pronunciation, grammatical structure, syntax, and words, the right vocab. Okay? Notional functional, its focus is on speaking and learning how to communicate with language. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. That's better than the first one. Okay, then procedural and task-based. Procedural and task-based are pretty much the same. What's the only difference? There is a task in both of them. So that's the same thing. Okay? The only difference is that in procedural syllabi, there is no focus on form. And in TBL, task-based learning, or task-based syllabi, there is a focus on form. What do I mean by focus on form? Explicit teaching of grammar and vocab. Explicit teaching of grammar and vocab. In procedural syllabi, in procedural teaching, there is no explicit teaching of grammar and vocab. Okay? Whereas in task-based learning, there is some specific teaching of grammar and vocab in a very specific way. Okay, guys? So when you see a syllabi that includes task, when you see a lesson plan that includes a task, don't automatically assume it's task-based learning, or TBL. Okay? For something to be TBL, it has to follow a certain procedure, and including focus on form. Yeah, it's not that obvious at all. Okay? And don't worry if you don't get it today. We are going to talk a lot about TBL, task-based learning, in this class. Actually, the third activity is based on TBL, or it could be based on TBL. You could do it about something else, but 90% of people or more do it on TBL. Okay? Let's take a look at some examples, taking these into account. So this is part of the syllabus. We have Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and in each unit, we're going to learn some grammar, nouns, articles, blah, 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 vocabulary, classroom materials, phonetics, the difference between O and O, intonation, questions. What is this? I'll give you a hint. is either structural grammatical or notional functional. What do you think? It's one of these two. What do you guys think? Should be obvious. Structural grammatical? Says Alberto. Do you agree with Alberto? No, Alberto. Structural grammatical because phonology is involved. Phonology and what else? You guys are right. It is structural grammatical, but the question is why? Yeah, phonology is involved. But what else is involved? Are lexical items involved? Are vocabulary involved? Yeah. Is grammar involved? Yeah. There you go. Those are the three things that we care about when we do structural grammatical syllabi and teaching. We want to teach grammar, the right structure, vocabulary, the right words, and phonetics, the right pronunciation. That's all we care about. And in the syllabi, that's reflected like this usually. You have grammatical content, vocabulary content, and phonetic content. See what I mean? See? Okay. Have you ever used syllabi like this? Yeah. Me too. Next. Unit 2, Unit 3. Pleased to meet you. We're going to learn how to do greetings, countries and nationalities, objects. We're going to learn how to greet people formally and informally. We're going to learn how to introduce people, say what nationality you are, blah, 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 blah. What is this? Actually, I'm going to give it to you. This is notional functional. You tell me why. I knew you knew it, Catherine. But I want you to tell me why. It's not focused more in speaking. It's focused only on what you do with the language. Okay? It's focused on functions. See? Notional, functional. It's focused on what you can do with the language. See? You can. We're going to learn how to greet people. We're not going to learn whatever grammar, whatever vocab, whatever pronunciation. We're going to learn what to do with that in real life. We're going to learn how to, let's say, greet people or express your nationality. Okay? Encourages students to use the language, not encourages to speak, encourages students to use the language to convey certain types of functions, certain types of intentions, certain types of meanings. Okay? All right. See? Have you ever used this type of syllabi? I have a lot. A lot. Yeah. This is the type of syllabi that you normally use in communicative language teaching as well. Okay? Communicative language teaching, or when you use the communicative approach, the syllabi that you use kind of look like this. Yeah, Catherine, yeah, I'm sure it does. In the US, it's more or less like this still. Yeah. See? They might be a little old-fashioned, but they are widely used. They are widely used. And widely sometimes. Okay, guys. Next, what do we have? We have grammar, we have vocab. We have some reading, we have some listening activities, and we have a task. See? We have to learn some grammar, we have to learn some vocab, okay? We have some readings, okay? We have some listenings, and we have a task to complete. So is it procedural or task-based? Why task, Jamie? Because there is a task? That's not enough. That's not enough. So don't say that. Okay? There's focus on form. There's focus on form. Okay, yes. Why do you, how do you know? Because it says grammar and vocab here. Okay, but it doesn't say that in class I'm going to teach you this grammar and vocab. These are just contents. It doesn't say if those are going to be taught explicitly in class. So there's no way for you to know, for us to know, if this is going to be taught in class. Okay? You will need this grammar and vocab to complete the task, but it doesn't say whether these contents will be taught explicitly in class or not. See? In reality, we don't know. In reality, there's no way for us to know. I know, tricky question. Tricky question, okay? There is no way for us to know with the information that we have. Okay? I included this, this example for one reason only. And it's not to confuse you or to give a hard time, okay? The only reason why I chose this example is to show you that when you see task, don't go directly to, oh, task-based, because there's a task. No. No. Oh, it's not task-based, so it has to be procedural. No. See? You may see syllabi or teaching, including task, that is neither procedural nor task-based. Let's see how a real procedural and task-based syllabi look like. This is procedural. Tell me why. Tell me why it's procedural and not task-based. Both follow an order, Alvaro. That's not enough reason. The task is broken down in stages. Both. In both tasks, in both methodologies, the task is broken down in the same stages, more or less. Look at the end. And remember the only difference. Remember the only difference between procedural and task-based. The only difference is all about focus on form. Feedback. See? Oscar, that's good. Nope. Maria Los Angeles, Glenda, you got it. It follows the same steps, but the difference between task-based and procedural is that in procedural, you complete the task, you have a pre-task and the task, and after you complete the task, the teacher gives you feedback. See? In both, you have a pre-task, preparation for the task, and the task. You complete the task and present the task. That happens in both procedural and task-based. The difference is what happens at the end. In procedural syllabi and procedural teaching, after your task, the teacher takes notes and gives you feedback. In task-based, after you present your task, there's a pre-task and a task that you present, like the procedural syllabi. But the difference is that after the task, the teacher takes notes and explains grammar and vocab explicitly. Focus on form. Happens in TBL, happens in task-based, but it doesn't happen in procedural. In procedural, see, that's the end. The students' true false answers receive marks so that they are provided with feedback in terms of the task. That's it. You get feedback. In task-based, you get more than that. This is task-based, and this is what it looks like. Pre-task, introduction to the topic, Today we're going to talk about X, and we're going to do whatever task. In the task cycle, you do your task, you do some planning, and then you report, you present your task, always in groups. And in the post-task, also known as language focus, you focus on the language. You take notes, and you explain whatever grammar and vocab was used. You highlight common errors, etc., etc. Exactly, Alvaro. On procedural, your feedback is about the task, not on the form. TBL focuses on the grammar and vocab after the task. Only here, only in the post-task. In the pre-task and in the task cycle, there is no grammar and vocab, no teaching of grammar and vocab explicitly. You don't give your students the grammar and vocab to use in the task. Students rely on their own resources. Only after they have completed the task and only after they have presented the task, then you provide some teaching of grammar and vocab. Okay? So that's the difference between procedural and task-based. Procedural, you present the task and you get feedback. In task-based, you present the task and then you get to focus on form. You get to focus on grammar and vocab. But again, only after you have completed and presented your task. Okay? You'll see a lot more about TBL later on in this course. A lot. Okay, we're gonna be working a lot with TBL, task-based learning. Okay, I just wanted you to have a little taste of this now that we're talking about syllabi. Okay, guys? Yes? Good. Next, lesson plan components. So we've talked about curriculum today, and we've talked about syllabi. Let's talk about lesson plans. That's the easiest part. Remember the definition of lesson plan and what lesson plans usually contain? It's a personal document. That's a very good point. It's a personal document. It's not an open document. It's not a closed document. It's a personal document. Good. For what? What do we do with that personal document? What does it include usually? To organize our teaching process, yeah, it's usually done daily, right? So for today's class, I'm going to prepare my lesson plan. Okay, objectives, contents, activities, assessment. It includes details, timing. That's very good, Alvaro. Okay, it's not an open document, Oscar. It's not an open document. It's a personal document. Different. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Elvira, Fanny, Daniel. Good. Good. See, so that's what I got. This is what we discussed. A lesson plan is a personal document. It's not closed. Because what if you decide on changing things at the last minute? Doesn't matter. It's just a document for you to organize your teaching. Okay? If you prepare a certain amount of stuff and the class is going slower than you expected, you are very welcome to change your plan. Who hasn't changed plans in the middle of a class? I have all the time. Okay? So it's a personal document. You don't normally share the document with anybody. That's what it means. It's personal. It's just for you. You do it for yourself. Okay? The teachers may create or not, okay, daily or weekly to guide them in their teaching. Okay? Lesson plans usually include, that depends on the teacher, but it usually includes the lesson title, the theme, what are we talking about today, objectives, always objectives, outcomes, plan, assessment, materials, anything that will help you implement the class as intended. Okay? And again, as I said twice already today, some form of this will be on the test. Okay? Lesson plan, syllabus, curriculum, always, 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 always. Okay? All right. I have a couple of examples for you. Okay, lesson plan 1 and lesson plan 2. If you're attending the class live, they are down here. Okay, it's document 2 and 3 in the list. It says lesson plan 1 and lesson plan 2. Actually, the whole name of the thing, of the documents are right here. Okay, if you're watching the video later, if you're watching the recording later, you won't be able to access the documents here. But if you go to Canvas, you should be able to get them. Okay, 2 lesson plans, number 1 and number 2. Number 1 looks like this. Outside identity. Okay, outside identity. So what do we have in this lesson plan? What are the contents? What did the teacher who wrote this decide to include? Outcomes. See, outcomes and objectives. We'll see the difference very soon. Okay, what else? Start on the top of the document. What do we have? Title and the theme. Yeah, title and theme. Outcomes and objectives. Again, we'll see the difference soon. What do we have next? Yeah, we'll see that soon, Alvaro, and it's going to be a huge part in this class. But give it some time. Yeah, we have the plan. And what do we mean by plan? What is the plan? Explain what the plan is in your own words. Describe what the plan is in your own words. Step by step, activities, procedures, step-by-step implementation. First, we're going to do this, then we're going to do that, then we're going to do that, and finally, we'll do whatever. Yeah? Including, and some people have mentioned it, very important, the timing. 10 minutes for this, 10 minutes for that, 25 minutes for this, 10 or 12, it depends. It depends on the mood of the class, 10 or 12 minutes for that, etc., etc. See? What do we have next? Assessment. See? And again, we'll see what assessment is. Very well, it's we'll see that soon. Let me put it this way. We'll see the difference between assessment and evaluation very soon. Okay? Assessment meaning what you are going to do, the type of activities that you'll be doing to make sure or to determine how much your students have achieved what you wanted them to achieve. Okay. Number 1. Number 2. What do we have? Again, start at the very top. The title. What else do we have? The theme, same thing. The title, the theme or topic is pretty much the same. What else do we have? Outcomes, kind of like the first one, right? Title, theme, objectives, and outcomes, or in this case, only outcomes. What else do we have that is new, that we didn't see in the first one? There's one thing that we didn't see in the first one, and it's right here. Yeah, age group 11. For whom this lesson plan is for. Okay? total time of the class, okay? Materials, something that we didn't see in the first one, okay? And then we have a little introduction of the topic, and then we have the plan or procedure. In the other one, it was called plan. In this one, is called procedure. Doesn't matter. Remember, this is a personal document. It's for you. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. Okay? And what do we have? I mean, what did we have in the first one that is not present here? Assessment. Okay, assessment. In this case, there is no specific activity used for assessment. And it's fine. You don't have to assess every single class. Okay? Not a lot of people assess every single class, and that's fine. That's fine. Okay, guys. 1 or 2? Which one do you prefer? I'm sorry. Let me rephrase my question. I'm sorry. Forget about my question. Which one is better? 1 or 2? Which lesson plan is a better lesson plan, and why? Catherine, Juan Manuel, they favor 1. Sandra says both are okay. Mario, Sonia favor number 2. Diana and Javier, some people 1, some people 2. For me, as teacher, it's easier to go to when I want to teach in a lesson, organizing it that way. What do you, oh, okay. You're explaining your choice. Both, okay. Guys, it was a tricky question. There is no better words. These are personal documents. So whatever works for the teacher, whatever works for you. Who am I to say, oh, I don't like your lesson plan, I do it differently? Doesn't matter. Someone prepared that lesson plan for his or her class. So it works for him. So it's perfect for them, for that person. Okay? So we decide what to include, how to include it, what not to include. See, it's up to us. It's a personal document. We don't share it with anyone. So there's actually, doesn't make that much sense to talk about this one is better, this one is worse. Okay? As long as it works for the person who write it, it's fine. Yeah, it's all about preference. It's just for us. Catherine just said it. It's just for us. So whatever works for us. Again, doesn't make much sense to say this one is better, this one is worse. Okay? Because you don't normally share it. You just use it and you write it the way you want to write it according to how you teach. Yeah, it's all up to you. Okay? There's no reason to prefer one over the other. Okay? As long as it works for your class, that's fine. Okay, guys? Second tricky question of the class. Sorry about that. Okay, guys. So we've talked about curriculum and competencies. We talked about types of syllabi, and we talked about lesson plans. Okay, we have reviewed the definitions because we've already talked about the definitions and the components. And today we've gone further a little bit, and we talked about, in the case of curriculum, we talked about the competencies. In the case of syllabi, we've seen different types of organizing contents in syllabi, and we talked about components of lesson plans and how lesson plans are not good or bad. They just work for you as a teacher. Okay? Yeah. I know. Tricky questions are for us to have fun here in class, okay? In the exams, the questions are going to be very straightforward. Very straightforward, okay? No, there will be no room for trickery. Believe me on that, okay? Okay, guys, so next, what we're gonna do now, as promised, is review the guidelines on the group activity. Create a lesson plan. Okay? So the guidelines and assessment rubric are in Canvas, tareas, group assignment, create a lesson plan. We're going to go over those in a second. And just to be clear, okay, what you need to do is submit just one PDF or Word file only. So even if you have a I know this is a group activity, but not everyone in the group needs to submit a document. Only one person submits the document for the whole group. Okay, only one document for the whole group. Okay, only one document for the whole group. So you need to agree on who submits the document, and only one person does it. Only one person does it. Just make sure that on the document, everyone's names are included. Complete names. Okay, complete names. Don't say just Álvaro, Elvira, and Oscar. No, because I have many Álvaros and many Elviras and many Oscars. Okay, so Álvaro, Alberto Zabaleta Fuentes, Elvira Aurora Ortiz, Oscar Leonardo, blah, 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 blah. Complete names, please. Complete names. Only one person submits it. Only one person. Okay, Elvira? Only one person only one person needs to submit the document. So get together and decide who does it when the time comes. Okay, when the time comes. Only one person. That's enough. Again, just make sure that everyone's names, complete names, are on the file. And just one document. Just one document. Don't write the paper in different files. Just one file. Just one file. PDF, Word, I don't care. Okay? And please, actual documents. Do not submit a link to Google Drive. Do not do that. If you do that, I won't read it. Okay? Has to be an actual document, an actual PDF or Word file, an actual file. Okay? No links. Okay? Okay, and remember that you have a discussion board available in Canvas, Foros de Discusión, to create groups. I saw that there's a lot of entries, so I know that you've been using that discussion board. Keep using it. If you don't have a group, keep using it. Keep posting your messages there until you find a group. Okay, and it has to be done in a group. It cannot be, if you submit your work individually, it will not be graded. This is a a group assignment. Okay, and the groups could be groups of 2, 3, or 4. 2, 3, or 4. Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. Next week, we'll talk about the needs analysis individual assignment. And we'll go over an example. Okay, we'll go over an example that I wrote. Okay, so if I were you, I wouldn't miss next week's class or recording. Okay, because I'm going to give you a lot of information about what to do and not to do on the needs analysis paper. Okay, Daniel? Okay, let's take a look at the group activity. We're talking about the group activity. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, can you see my screen, guys? Can you see my canvas? Yes? Excellent. Okay, so if you click on Tareas, then you'll see group assignment, create a lesson plan. If you click here, first thing you'll see is that the deadline is June 19th. So you still have some time. Okay? And you have 2 super important documents here. First, actually, let me show you the other one first. The first document that I want to show you is the rubric. If you click on the rubric, you'll see the document that I'll be using to grade your papers. Okay? So what I'm going to be grading is your rationale, your creativity, the quality of the appendix materials, group work, and how you wrote the paper. Okay? In terms of orthography and spelling and things like that. Okay? Now I want to show you in this document, because in this document you'll see the guidelines. You'll see what you need to do. It also includes a link to a video. Daniel. No, Daniel, I just said that this is a group assignment, and if you submit your paper on your own, if you didn't do it in a group, it will not be counted. Sorry. Oscar. We'll see that in a second. Oscar, this is not part of this. Okay, this is not part of what we're doing right now. Okay, Oscar? The group activity. The group activity. What is it that you need to do? First, what you've already been doing. Okay, using the discussion board to form groups. Okay, so what is it that you need to do in a nutshell? You need to create a unit. Okay, a unit composed of 6 lesson plans minimum. Okay, if you do 6, you're good. Okay, 6 lesson plans that are part of a whole coherent unit, not 6 random lesson plans, obviously. Okay, what is it that you need to include? The rationale for the unit. What are you writing that unit in terms of competences of the national curriculum? Okay, so every member of the group is for Colombia, use the Colombian national curriculum. If all the members of the group are from Spain, use the Spanish national curriculum. Okay, so that's why I told you the very first class that it would be a good idea to work with people from your own country, so you can work on the same curriculum. But it's not, I mean, there's no way for me to check whether everyone's from Colombia or everyone's from Ecuador or everyone's from Spain. So it's fine. It just helps if you do it that way. But if you don't, that's fine. But again, work on one national curriculum. So if the national curriculum for whatever level indicates that you need to do whatever and whatever and whatever, do a unit based on that. Okay? Then you need to include what the unit will consist of. So include the theme. This unit is about holidays, assignments, projects, or tests. Whatever you decide to do. If your students need to do assignments, specify the assignments. Students will produce, I don't know, a video. Okay? Or they will work on a project on whatever. Or they will do a test about the whole unit. Whatever it is that you want to use. You don't need to do tests. You don't need to do projects. You don't need to do assignments. It's up to you. Then you will write the outcomes of the objectives. Again, more information later. If you don't know the differences between those two, just wait. Just wait. Give me some time. Then you need to specify the unit assessment percentages, meaning that students will do a project. That's 50% of the grade. Then they will do an exam. That's, I don't know, 40% of the grade. And participation is 10% of the grade. Things like that. The grade breakdown. Okay, the grade breakdown. And then describe the assessments. If they need to do a project, describe the project. Okay, if they need to do certain tasks, describe the tasks. Okay, and then include the lesson plans. Okay, the lesson plan number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, or more. Okay, with the lesson name, the title, the theme, an outcome for the lesson, objectives for the lesson, okay, the plan with timing, like we saw in the examples before, the plan with timing, and the assessment. Name and theme, not the same? Nope. The title is just a title. The theme is what the topic is all about. The title is more creative. The theme is not that creative, or the theme is more descriptive. If you look at the examples that we saw before, lesson plan number 1 and lesson plan number 2, you see examples of titles and themes. Of course, they can be similar. They have to be similar. They have to be related. Just look at the examples. We've seen many lesson plans and many syllabi in this class already. Okay, many examples. Okay, with again, titles and themes. And last but not least, you need to include all the materials to complete the unit in an appendix. Like, I don't know, in lesson plan number 1, you're going to start the class with a reading. Well, include the reading in the appendix. Okay? In lesson plan number 2, we're going to start the class with pictures of my last holidays. Well, include the pictures in the appendix. Of course, Catherine. Use whatever materials that you need from the internet, from whatever. What about the templates using the examples of LP you provide? I can we add them to our task? We'll talk about the templates in a second, Daniel. Just bear with me. I'll tell you about template in a second. First, again, so the objective of this is that you provide everything that's needed to implement the class. Okay? So if I decided to implement your class tomorrow, I could with the materials that you have provided. That's the idea. So you need to include everything that's mentioned, everything that will be needed to implement the class or the sessions, the lesson plans, the unit. Okay, guys? Okay? And at the end, it says, a group document will be uploaded by one individual. Make sure all group members' first and last names are included. And the extension is 20 pages, maximum, excluding the appendix. Excluding the appendix. 20 maximum, excluding the appendix. That's the only requirement. 20 maximum, excluding the appendix. Okay. The template. I've included a template here. Actually, the template is this document. Just select all the content, erase, and write on top of or write over this, so you can use the actual document as your template. That's your template. I made that work for you already. Okay? If you go to Archivos and Group Activity, you will have the two documents we've already seen and a template Group Activity. Use this template. No, Glenda, use this template. Do not use a random document. Do not use a random Word document. Use this template. Okay? It's right here. Okay? It's right here for you. And it's right here already. If you're attending the class live, it's the last document in the list. Use it. It's already there. Everything's already there. The right font, the right margins, everything's there. Use that template, and in terms of format, it will be perfect. Again, do not use a random document. Don't. Okay? Yeah, Daniel, good. Any questions about the group activity? Yeah, Catherine. Any questions? The rationale, Catherine. For instance, Catherine, where are you from? Colombia. Okay, and I imagine the members of your group and you are from Colombia, right? Okay, so take the Colombian curriculum. Okay, choose one level and then develop a unit based on the curriculum and the level that you chose. Yeah, Alvaro, that's coming up. Okay, Catherine, just take the Colombian curriculum and choose certain level and certain contents, and then develop the unit. Okay, great. Okay, so in the document and video we just reviewed, we didn't review the video, but it's up to you. Okay, it's not clear what's different, what the difference between objectives and outcomes are. Okay, if you want to know the whole story, read Unit 7. Did I mention about evaluation next class? No, Mary. Wait until the end of the class and I'll announce what we're going to do next class. Objectives and outcomes. Again, if you want to know the whole story, read Unit 7. All the information you need to know is there. But in a nutshell, objectives are what students will have learned after completing a lesson or a unit. For instance, by the end of the lesson, students will be able to narrate in the past. Outcomes refer to the intended specific skills, knowledge, and attitudes to be learned. By the end of the lesson, students will discuss what they did last weekend. Compare this objective and compare this outcome. What's the main difference? By the end of the lesson, students will be able to narrate in the past. By the end of the lesson, students will discuss what they did last weekend. The first one is more general, and the second one is more specific. Okay, this is more general, and this is more specific, things that you will do on a specific activity. Okay, general versus specific. General versus specific and related to specific activities. Okay, so that's the difference between objectives and outcomes in a nutshell. But again, in Unit 7, it's explained completely. And if you want to wait, actually, what I recommend is that you wait until Unit 7 and we'll go over this in depth. Okay, since the deadline for this activity is June 19th, I would say wait. And objectives and outcomes will be clear. Okay, you can keep working on other things, but I would wait to write my objectives and outcomes until we see that. That's my recommendation. It's up to you. Questions about the assignment? Questions? Some people are writing. I'll wait. If you want, I can give you permission to use the microphone if you don't want to write or if it's too much to write. Yeah, Sandra. 2 people is a group. Okay, Oscar? Everyone, everything clear about the group assignment? 4 people are still a valid group. 5 people, not so much. But 2 people, 3 people, 4 people are acceptable groups for this assignment. 1 person, not good. 5 people, no good. Good. That's good. That's good. 4 people are good. 2 people are good. 3 people are good too. Okay. Again, 5 people, 1 person. Okay, Álvaro, shoot. Minimum 6 lesson plans. Yeah. Daniel, Sandra, please use the dedicated discussion board for your group formation. Okay. Álvaro, I have no idea what you're asking. TFM groups are acceptable? I'm not sure what you mean. Mary, do we have to follow a specific lesson plan template? Yeah, it's up to you. That's up to you. The master final project. I don't think they are, Alvaro, but I'm not the one to ask. Ask your tutor, okay? I don't have a say in that, okay? Ask your tutor. Okay? I don't, as I said, I don't work with that. More questions? No problem. Okay, so let's do some reviewing in the 23 minutes we have left. Okay, even though we have done some reviewing in the first hour of class. Okay, I have 2 activities for us to review. Okay, 2 activities to review the first 3 lessons, or the first 3 units, sorry. Review question number 1, curriculum, syllabus, and lesson plan. Aristides, I saw a partner wrote about 6 lessons. What, Aristides? Didn't we just say that you need to write 6 lesson plans minimum? Aristides? Okay, Aristides, I just addressed your question. If you have any further comments, let me know now or use the discussion board. Again, guys, review question number 1, curriculum, syllabus, and lesson plan. What's the difference? Okay. Number 1, what's the difference? Define the 3 elements. Okay, Aristides, we just said that you need to write a unit that contains at least 6 lesson plans. Okay? I don't know if you were in class or you missed it. I invite you to watch the recording, okay? And read the documentation about this. Okay? Yes. Take a look at it. Take a look at it, okay? If you have any questions, again, you can ask me next class or you can use the discussion board. Let's focus on this, guys. Let's focus on this. I thought it's a good idea for us to practice on this because this is going to be on the test. Guys, define the 3 concepts and explain, very important, explain how the 3 elements are interconnected. Okay? Explain how these 3 are interconnected. Don't write anything yet. I'm going to give you some time. Take some notes. Think about it. And I'll ask you to share in a little bit. Okay, I'll ask you to share in a little bit. Please don't write anything just yet. Think about it. We've gone over the definitions in today's class, so it should be easy to access at this point. And what you need to think about is how the three are interconnected. Okay, I'll give you some minute, I'll give you some time, and we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, guys, so what do you have? How the three are interconnected. Okay, Oscar, that's what they have in common. What I'm asking is how the three are interconnected. Jamie, are interconnected because the three are focused on the knowledge and process for acquiring competence and skills. Okay, what else? They are connected by competences. Okay. Oscar, the curriculum guides the syllabus, and the syllabus guides the lesson plans. That's a good way to put it. That's a nice way to put it. Okay, you need a curriculum. In the curriculum, you specify the courses. Okay, syllabus detail those specific courses, and lesson plans specify each lesson in each course. Glenda, curriculum is more general, include many components and other subjects. Syllabus is related to the subject, and lesson plan is more specific to one subject and one lesson. That's good. Syllabus gives information about the units for the curriculum, and the lesson plan specifies each lesson. That's good. That's a very nice way to put it, and that's a nice way to put it in simple terms, which is good in this case. This is what I got. A curriculum is a document that describes an education program. That's the definition we've mentioned a few times. It includes the objectives of the program, the content, the teaching procedures, learning experiences, and assessment procedures. A syllabus is a closed document that provides descriptions of the course contents and the order in which they will be taught. It includes objectives, expectations, grades, course materials, and policies. The syllabus provides information about the units, modules for the curriculum. That's how these two interact. The syllabus provides information about the units, modules for the curriculum, courses for the curriculum. The syllabus offers the sequencing of the curriculum structure and organization. It's a substantiation of the curriculum in terms of different different courses. Okay. A lesson plan is a personal document that teachers may create weekly or daily to follow their objectives for each class. It substantiates each lesson as specified in syllabi. Okay, lesson plans are the details of each day's process, skills, and learning strategies implemented in the classroom. It may include the lesson title, the theme, learning outcomes, objectives, plan, assessment, and materials used. Okay, so this is one way to combine the three concepts. This is one way. Okay, nice. Next, and there's more information about curricula in Unit 1, 2, and 3. Review question number 2. We don't have a lot of time, but the simple past. Okay, remember last week or in 2 weeks ago, we reviewed 3 basic methodologies: CLIL, CLT, and genre-based. So what I was going to ask you, but we don't have time, is to outline a simple lesson plan to teach the past tense using one of these 3 methodologies. But we're going to do something different. Guys, remember what CLIL is all about? What CLIL is all about? What CLT is all about? What genre-based pedagogy is all about? For instance, CLIL. What do you remember about CLIL? What does CLIL stand for, and what's it all about? Content language integrated learning. Good. It's teaching content through language. That's good, Daniel. Teaching content through language. In this case, teaching, I don't know, history, geography, and English. Just good. About CLT. What does it stand for, and what are its principles? CLT. Communicative language teaching is structure about grammar. So today we're doing the past tense, and everything revolves around that grammatical point. Other principles of CLT. Authentic materials. Okay, materials written by natives for natives. Okay, what else? Specific and real life context. Okay, we're going to practice, we're going to work on scenarios that students will find in real life. Very good. How about genre-based? When we talk about genre-based, what are we talking about? What's the main foundation? Text. Very good. Alvaro with many T's. Text. Reading and writing. Reading and writing. Reading about and writing. Interpreting texts and producing texts. And scaffolding is a main thing in genre-based. Like instead of providing a whole text and working on a whole text or a text on, we break down the text into different pieces. We do activities in order for students to understand the text better. Things like that. Okay. And I have 3 examples for you. Okay, they are down here. They are documents, the documents that whose titles are CLIL, CLT, and GB. Okay, number 4, 5, and 6 in the list down here. Okay, if you're watching the recording, they are in Canvas as usual. Okay, let's take a look at them. Oops. Okay, lesson plan. Topic: English society at the time of the Magna Carta. B1, 90 minutes. Aims, objectives, and outcomes are related. Aims, what you want your students to learn. To develop students' ability to talk about daily life using past tenses and used to. Okay. To develop students' understanding of England at the time of the Magna Carta. To provide opportunities for students to compare England 800 years ago to their own contexts. So just by looking at these contents, just by looking at these aims, at these objectives, what kind of contents can we see? Today, yes, they are. Today, only today. We'll see soon that they're not the same. That's okay, I don't know. Okay, what kind of contest do we see? I'm not asking you to give me what type of methodology this is. I'm asking you about the contest. What kind of contest do we see here? We have 3 aims, 3 objectives, right? Number 1, number 2, and number 3, they're not the same type of objectives, right? Number 2 and number 3 are all about history, to know about history. What about the first aim? What type of aim is it? What is it? Grammar. See? So we have linguistic content and a non-linguistic content. See? At the same time. So you're learning English, the past tense, you're learning English, the English language, and you are learning about history. One linguistic thing and one non-linguistic thing together at the same time. That's the base of what type of methodology? Genre-based, CLIL, or CLT? Without reading any further, what would you say this is about? CLIL. See, content and language, content, grammar, past tense, and content, history, and language, grammar, the past tense, integrated learning in the same unit, in the same lesson, at the same time. So you learn about that particular grammar and the history of England. Yeah, Daniel, you got it. Okay. Another example. Topic, Carnival in Brazil. Aims, again, in this class today, more or less the same thing as objectives, but there's a little bit of differences. To develop extended listening and prediction skills using a short story. To give learners the opportunity to participate in storytelling, to develop speaking skills, and to reinforce the use of the past simple tense. Okay, the past simple tense. Okay, so you have some activities. Okay, so you talk about carnivals as a warm-up, as a warmer. Do you have a carnival in your country? How is it? What do people do during carnival? Then you have a listening activity about what happens in carnivals and things like that. Speaking activity, okay, in which you have to retell a story in pairs. And a follow-up activity using a worksheet. What do you say? CLIL, CLT, or genre-based? First, would this be a good example of CLIL? Yes or no? Would this be CLIL? Yes or no? No. What's the content? Would this be a good example of genre-based? Do they have to read a lot of text and write a lot of texts? Is everything based on texts? No. This is CLT, as some of you have already mentioned. Okay, it's all based around the simple past tense. Okay, and you have different activities to communicate using the past tense. Communicative language teaching, real life scenarios to talk about certain festivity. Okay, and students use the language to communicate. Okay, past tense. Again, goal to learn how to form the past tense, both regular and irregular. See, the 3 lesson plans that we examined are about the past tense. Materials, a biography. This is the materials. This short text. Okay? From the text, you take the grammar, you infer the grammar. Okay? Then you ask the students to write a certain paragraph. Then you use the paragraph to identify the grammar in that paragraph. CLT? Clear? What's the basis? Everything in this class revolves around one thing. Text. Everything is about the text. Everything revolves around the text. From the text, you get the grammar. From the text, you ask students to write something different. See, everything is around the text. Everything revolves around the text, the grammar, but through text. Through text. Okay, so this is an example of genre-based. Everything is revolves around the production and the understanding and the use of texts. Okay, for communication, okay, and also for grammar, as like in this case. Okay, again, we've seen examples, okay, of both genre-based, CLT, and CLAP. Okay, guys, see, for this to be CLT, would have to involve a lot more communication. And communication using real-life context. This is not a real-life context. We are talking about the biography of whoever, Mae Jemison, whoever this is. That's not a real-life thing. You don't discuss the biography of anyone. Okay? This is all about understanding texts and writing texts, genre-based. That's all right, Catherine. That's all right. See the difference? If it's not clear, again, compare the 3 lesson plans. Compare the 3 lesson plans and the differences should be clear. If they are not, let me know. Okay? Use the discussion board or talk to me next class or whenever. Okay, guys? Okay. So, I had a different activity for you, but we ran out of time, so we didn't do it. Okay. So this is all I wanted to do today. Okay, in the last 2 hours, we've accomplished a lot. We've gone over Unit 3. We classified types and subtypes of competences. We evaluated different kinds of syllabi, and we analyzed the contents of 2 lesson plans. We've also gone over the guidelines of the group activity. We went over the guidelines in Canvas, and we discussed how to form groups again. Okay, and in the review session, we went over to review questions that included critical information from Units 1 to 3. CLT, CLIL, and genre-based methodologies, and the differences and how they are integrated, how the definitions of curriculum, syllabi, syllabus, and lesson plans, and how the 3 are interconnected. Okay, so that's a lot, and that's what we did today. Next week, regular class, 1-hour class, Unit 4, needs analysis design. So we'll see what this is, needs analysis, the definition, types, and steps to implement an NA analysis activity. Okay, and we'll see some examples. Okay, and since there is an activity on needs analysis, we'll talk about that activity next week. So next week, it's all about needs analysis. Unit 4, and also the individual activity on needs analysis. So we'll see what to do, what not to do for that individual activity, and we'll see and analyze a real example. Well, not a real example, an example that I wrote, okay, that can serve you as a template. Okay, yeah, you can watch it later. Excuse me, guys. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for attending this class. Thank you very much for your participation, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Bye, guys.